what the hacker is doing in order to penetrate a computer. We are going to discuss the methodology, the tools, software and hardware that the hacker is executing against our computer and what we can do in order to protect ourselves. So without further ado, let's start. Think about your computer as a house. In order to a burglar to get into our house, the burglar can do many different things. He can try to pass through the door, he can try to get through the window or through the garage door. He has different ways that he can get inside. The burglar can knock on the door and try to say that he is from the post office, or he has a delivery, and then someone from inside, he will open the door and then the burglar will get inside. So this is a type of manipulation that in cybersecurity we call it social engineering. He manipulates someone to do an action so the hacker is able to get in, the same as the burglar in the example of the house. So we have different ways so that the hacker can get inside of our computer. He can use what we call different attack vectors. The same is when we're talking about the security of our computer. The hacker can execute different attacks, different attack vectors in order to get inside of our computer. And this is very important to understand, because a lot of people, they think, oh, okay, I'm going to buy an antivirus and then I will be protected against all types of attacks. So this is totally not true. For every different attack vector, we need to implement different defenses. The same as we are implementing security in our house, okay? In order to avoid that the burglar will come through the chimney, so we need to protect the chimney. We need to, in order to protect the doors, we will implement some types of locks. So for different attack vectors, we have different security controls. It is very important to understand, and this is why also the hackers are able to get inside our computers, because protecting our computers against attacks, this is not so simple. Yeah. Now, the hacker, in order to penetrate our computer, he has two types of attacks that he can execute. Those attacks are called local or remote. Local attacks, for example, are different devices that the hacker can plug in to your computer to get access to hack your computer. And I'll give you an example, okay, of a local attack. Okay, a local attack, again, it's an attack that the hacker needs physical access to your computer. He needs your computer to be close by physically. So one of the tools that hackers, they love to use, and it's very simple to use, it's the USB rubber ducky. The USB rubber ducky is a hardware that everyone can buy. You can buy it even online, and this is a device that looks exactly like a USB memory stick, but with a twist. The hacker, what he can do, he can upload a file, a malicious file, to this drive, so he can drop it close to your house, and then when you will walk on the street and you will see it on the sidewalk, you will pick it up and you will be interested to know what there is in the device. The hacker hopes that you will plug in the device to your computer, and then boom, the hacker has full access to your computer, and basically he hacked your computer just because you connected this malicious device to your computer. So conclusion, if you find something like that in the street or in an airport, whatever, never plug it to your computer. because it may harm your computer. Okay, so this is the USB rubber ducky. Watch out from the USB rubber ducky. Another device that is considered a local attack is the OMG cable. What is the OMG cable? The OMG cable is a charging cable, looks as a normal charging cable, and this is also a cable that, as you can see here, costs $179.99. Everyone can buy. Those types of cables are found in Hack5 website, but those are cables, charging cables with a twist. As soon as you connect your phone to this cable, the hacker has full access to your phone or your computer. So watch out from those cables. The hackers, they don't need to be geniuses today in order to hack. They have tools all over the internet. They just download them and install them, or they just go to a shop and they buy them. And then they learn in YouTube how to use the OMG cable or the USB rubber ducky. Okay, so those are types of local attacks. Again, the hacker needs access to your device, physical access. Now, another types of attacks, those are wireless attacks. Wireless attacks are very dangerous today, because many times when you are going to a coffee shop and you connect to the Wi-Fi network, you don't really know to which router or to which network you are connecting. The hacker may install a Wi-Fi network that has a name of free internet. Of course, everyone will connect to this network because it's free internet. And then the hacker, as soon as you connect to this malicious network, the hacker can capture all of the data that is leaving your computer. So for example, if you are connected to a website such as your bank account, so the hacker, when you type your password or whatever information that you're typing, the hacker will capture this information, because as soon as the information leaves your computer, such as your credit card number, this credit card number passes through the router that the hacker controls, and we call it this way: the hacker is sniffing your data. He's capturing all of your confidential information. So you really need to watch out from Wi-Fi attacks. You need to pay attention to which networks you're connecting. What I do, I never connect to wireless networks. I connect only in my house, and when I'm outside of my house, it's more secure to use the data of your phone. And if I am connected through a laptop to a wireless network, such as in a coffee shop, I will make sure I will be using VPN. We'll talk later about VPN, okay? But it's much better if you are doing critical transactions. For example, if you are connected to your bank account, it's much better to do it from your home, from your wireless network at home, and not just connecting to whatever wireless network that you see out there and doing those critical transactions, because you really don't know to which network you are connecting to. For executing those wireless attacks, and though there is a variety of attacks that the hacker can execute, so the hacker will buy a specific hardware, okay? And one of the most popular hardware out there that the hacker can buy, it's the Wi-Fi Pineapple. The Wi-Fi Pineapple is a very powerful wireless router that the hacker can also redirect you to different websites. So for example, when you type, if you are connected to the wireless network in this malicious router, so every time that you will type google.com in your browser, the hacker can redirect you to a malicious website, okay, that looks exactly like google.com, but as soon as you connect to this website through your browser, a malicious file will be installed in your computer without you, of course, knowing that, and then the hacker will have full control over your computer, okay? So really pay attention on variety of wireless attacks that the hacker can execute against you. Flipper Zero, it's a hardware device that can impersonate different devices. For example, let's say that you're arriving to your house with your car, and then you use the remote control to open the garage door. If I have access, am I close to your car, I'm able with the Flipper Zero to capture the signal from your remote control to the door, and then I will record it with the Flipper Zero. And the day after, when you leave your house, I can come with the Flipper Zero and press it close to the garage door, and then it will open remote attacks. How the hackers from the other side of the world, they can hack into a computer. Those are different types of attacks. Okay, so the first way and the most popular way to execute remote attacks is by phishing emails. A phishing email is an email that you receive that looks legitimate. For example, here we see a phishing email coming from Microsoft, and they're asking you that you need to verify, as a client of Microsoft, you need to verify your account, and they're asking you to access a link and verify your account before it gets locked completely. So whenever you will access a link that is shown in this email, you will click on the link, then you will be redirected to a website that looks maybe similar to a website of Microsoft, or if you get a phishing email from your bank, it will look exactly like the website of your bank, and then the hacker, he can install malicious file on your computer that it will allow him to take control over your computer, or he will ask you to type some information, and when you type your password for your bank account, boom, the hacker has access to your bank account and install your credentials. So whenever you get an email that looks suspicious, don't click. Okay? Don't click those links. Think twice. Think 3 times before clicking every email that looks suspicious. In general, I always tell my clients, phishing emails always have some type of urgency. Okay, you will get an email saying you need to do it right now, or 24 hours, or 3 hours. Okay, the hacker, he wants to pressure you, so you won't think exactly what you were doing, and then you will open the link. So as soon as you click the link, the hacker can steal information from you, or he can install malicious file in your computer that will give him full control over your computer. Ransomware attack is an attack where you open a file or you open an email and you click on a link, the hacker installs malicious file in your computer, and it will encrypt the information in your computer, and the hacker will ask money in order to give you access back to your files. Ransomware attacks, they're very popular. Today, hackers are making millions of dollars in those types of attacks. The most important security controls against those attacks is, again, don't click on things that you don't need to click on, links, Another very important security control is back up your information. Make sure you have a backup of your information, the critical information in your computer, and it's an offline backup. This will help you if your computer got a ransomware attack. What we can see here is an example of a message that a user will get in his computer as soon as he got the ransomware attack. And we can see here on the left that the hacker is asking for a payment. He's asking for $300 worth in Bitcoin. And if the payment is not completed in this time, the payment will be doubled. Is another type of attack where the hacker calls you and he can manipulate you to execute a different action that he wants. For example, he can call you saying that he is from the bank and you need to access to a specific link that he will send you through email because they have a problem with their systems or whatever. He tries to manipulate you somehow that you will install something on your computer and this will give him access to your computer. As in the example, in the analogy of the house that I gave you before, it's like someone knocking on your front door and saying that he is from the electricity company and you have a problem of electricity in your house and he needs to get in. Okay? So you will believe him that he is from the electricity company, you will let the burglar in and then he will steal from you. Okay? This is type of manipulation that in cyber attacks, this is called social engineering attacks. In order to protect against those attacks, you just need to be aware. Another attack that is very popular is the launching of an exploit. Now, what is an exploit? Let me explain to you how the exploit is being used. The hacker is taking advantage of a vulnerability that he found in your network or in your computer. He tries to find a bug in a program or in an operation system, and then he uses an exploit, which is a program that takes advantage of the vulnerability, and when the hacker launches the exploit, he gets full access to your computer. In order to protect against exploit, what we need to do, we need to make sure that we install all the security updates, make sure that all the updates are being installed, and then in this way the hacker won't be able to launch an exploit against you. A very popular exploit that I want to show you is the Eternal Blue. Eternal Blue was an exploit that was developed by the NSA in the United States, the National Security Agency in the United States. And they found this vulnerability in Windows 7 and they developed the exploit. The exploit allowed them to get full access. Okay, so this exploit is called the Eternal Blue. And what happened is that in 2017, the NSA was hacked by a group of hackers called the Shadow Brokers. This group of hackers, they stole the exploit from the NSA and they published it all over the internet, so everyone was able to use this exploit. Here, amazingly, we can see public websites where anyone can download the exploit and get a copy of it. Another way a hacker can find information about you is by data security breaches. And I'll give you an example. A couple of years ago, there was a very big data breach in Equifax. Equifax is a credit company in the United States. In that security breach, it assumed that information about half of the citizens in the United States was revealed in this incident where the hackers penetrated the servers of that company and extracted information about their clients. So in that security breach, credit card numbers were revealed, social security numbers, addresses, everything that you can see here was revealed in this incident. So if you were a client of Equifax and your information was in their databases, so probably the hackers know confidential information about you. In this website, Have I Been Pwned, I can type my email and I can see if my information was revealed in one of those security breaches. And as you can see, my confidential information such as password was revealed in one of those security breaches. One important tip that I can recommend you in this stage is making sure that you're not using the same password for all the websites that you are logging into, because if you have only one password and the hacker was able to get access to this password, the hacker will find access to all the website that you are using. The best strategy is to have different password for different websites. Now, if it's hard for you to remember all of those passwords, what you can do is you can use an app for your phone. It's called Password Safe. In this Password Safe app, you will be storing all of the password, and you will have to remember only one master password to get access to all of the password. And this is something that I always recommend. Instead of having to write down the passwords in a paper and then losing this paper, better to use an app. So first tip is update your computer with the latest updates, making sure that every time there is an update, you install and you apply this update in your computer and in your operation system, because those updates, they fix security issues in your computer, and a lot of people, they don't take the time to update their computer. Remember, updating your computer means that your computer will have less vulnerabilities, meaning that for the hacker, it's going to be harder to break into your computer. Another important tip, every time that you browse the internet, go 1 second to the URL. You see in the beginning of the URL, it says HTTPS. HTTPS means SSL. The S in the HTTPS means SSL, Secure Socket Layer. In simple words, it means that all the information that you type in your computer in that specific website, all that information will be encrypted by your browser and will be sent to the website in an encrypted way. So if, for example, you are accessing Amazon and you're typing a credit card number, your browser, if it says HTTPS on that specific website in Amazon, it means that your browser will encrypt that information, will protect it, and it will send it to Amazon website in a secure way. So if a hacker captures that information and he will try to figure out what is your credit card number or any other information that you typed, the hacker won't be able to do that, won't be able to reveal that information, because that information is being encrypted, being protected. Now, if you are accessing a website and suddenly you see a certificate error, such as this one or this one, stay away from this website, because they have a problem in the encryption mechanism, and if you're typing their critical information, everyone will be able to read that information. So encryption, very, very important to make sure that you are connecting to websites that use encryption. The HTTPS, the S is what important here. Another security control that you want to make sure that exists is two-factor authentication. Most of the times we are logging into a website through a password. But if we are only using a password, for the hacker is really easy to capture our password. The hacker can be standing behind us, and when we type the password, he can record it, or the hacker can install what we call a keylogger. A keylogger is a software that the hacker installs in our computer without us knowing, and when we're typing a password, when we are typing a password in our keyboard, the keylogger records all of the keys that we typed, and the hacker gets a copy of everything that we type. So if we type credit card numbers, password, and etc., the hacker will be able to know exactly what we type. Those he will be able to figure out our password. A better approach is to make sure that we use two-factor authentication. Sometimes it's called multi-factor authentication. So we can actually authenticate the user by three different factors. Something the user knows, for example, a password. Something the user has, for example, a mobile phone. Something the user is biometrics. Scan of his retina of his eye, scan of his digital fingerprint. Those are biometrics. So we can authenticate the user by three factors. Something the user knows, has, or is. Two-factor authentication is the combination of two of the factors. So for example, if you are logging in to a website and you type your password, this is something that you know. This is the first factor. And then you get an SMS message to your phone and you need to type a second password. So they are authenticating you with two factors. Because the second factor is something that you have. Make sure that you enable two-factor authentication. If you have a Gmail account, make sure that the Gmail account, the two-factor authentication is enabled, and make sure that you're using two-factor authentication all over the website that you are using. This will make the life of a hacker much harder obtaining your credentials. Every time you leave your computer unattended, make sure that you lock the screen. Especially if there are other people around your computer, you don't want people to have the ability to take a look at what you're doing in your computer. So in order to lock your screen, every time you stand up from your computer, just type making sure that your Windows operation system is using an antivirus. From Windows 7, Windows operation systems, they're coming with a built-in antivirus. You really don't need to buy a third-party antivirus because you can enable the Windows Defender. As we can see here, Windows and threat protection are enabled. Make sure that it's enabled. It's doing a decent job eliminating malware from your computer and also saves you money. You want to make sure that your computer is generating backups. As we can see here, file backup. Make sure that all of those features are turned on. If your computer, you will have to format it because of a virus or ransomware or whatever, you will be saved because you have backup. Another important tip, make sure that you use a VPN. When you are sitting in an internet cafe, you need to be aware that some hackers, they can be around you trying to capture your information. So protecting your information, as we mentioned before, you use HTTPS in every website that you are accessing. But on top of it, it's a good tip also, another security control that will protect more even your information is using VPN. VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. is a service that costs between $5 to $10, and it will add another layer of security. Because you need to understand that if you are using only HTTPS enabled websites, it's okay. It secures all the information that you are filling in this website. For example, if you're using Amazon and you're typing your address, your credit card number, your browser will encrypt this information and will send it to Amazon in a secure way. But other information, it's not encrypted. So for example, every time you type Amazon.com, the DNS query that is being sent is not encrypted. If you want also to encrypt other information, use the VPN. Now, what I do, I'm not using VPN because I don't care that the rest of the information will be protected and secure. I'm just making sure that every time I access a website, it says HTTPS, and for me, it's enough. But if your level of paranoia is higher, you can also use a VPN. In most of the times, it's not critical. A lot of people, they use VPN to mask their real IP address. For example, my neighbors, they use VPN in order to get access to content from the United States when their content is being blocked based on their source IP address. Because, for example, if they access Netflix, for example, or other services, it detects that they're connecting from Panama and their services, their access is being blocked. As with VPN, they can change the source IP to look like they're accessing it from the United States, and then the access will be granted. This is another way to use VPN, but in most of the cases, you don't need VPN. Just make sure that you are accessing website that it says HTTPS. Last tip for the day is use AI. Investigate about security. If you need to secure different devices such as Android or tablets, you can use AI such as I used here. You see, I accessed the AI of Microsoft, which is called Copilot. I access it in this address, and then I'm asking it to give me some tips how to secure my Windows 11 against cyber attacks. And I get a response of a procedure that I can follow in order to secure my Windows 11 operation system against cyber attacks. And this is something that you can do, depends on the devices and operation system that you use in order to access the internet. Make sure that they are secure. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Please add in comments about this tutorial. If you want me to create tutorials about specific issues, please go ahead and write in the comments, and I will make sure that I will write a tutorial about the subject that you are interested in.